other here in the state finals last year. Pfeiffer, of course, lost. Nathan Lorenz won. Lorenz took second as a freshman, fifth as a sophomore, of course, first last year as a junior, and he's going for his second straight title. Brandon Pfeiffer was second here last year. He's 29-1. That loss is not really a loss. It's a loss on his record, but it happened in the Ellsworth Tournament Finals. Brandon was leading by about 10 points, was called for a slam with 5 seconds left in the match, and the other boy couldn't finish, so he lost on a default. Lorenz, of course, comes in with an undefeated 36-0 record.
Lorenz, a senior from Harrington, in the maroon. Brandon Pfeiffer in the orange from Ellis.
Both wrestlers very strong, both very quick, both very good wrestlers.
Pfeiffer coming in 29-1. Had a fall in his first match and won the second 14-6. No score yet in the 152-pound championship match. 1:20 on the clock in the first period. We're tied at nothing. Nathan Lorenz and Brandon Pfeiffer.
Lorenz spent just a little bit over 3 minutes on the mat his first two matches, then won in the semifinals over Russell Merchant from Royal Valley, who also placed here last year, 9-1.
We enjoyed watching Lorenz wrestle last year when he took the state championship at the 145-pound weight class. 1:02 on the clock in the first period. We're still tied at nothing. Lorenz in the maroon, Pfeiffer in the orange.
There's one of those matches of his last year I didn't enjoy watching because he beat one of our kids, Jimmy Carlson. But we'll see what happens here. We've got a stalling warning on Pfeiffer already.
Another close match.
Lorenz trying to work that head snap down to where he can spin around behind.
And they'll go out of bounds with 39 seconds on the clock in the first period. No score in the neutral position.
Pfeiffer's moving backward quite a bit. That's why he got that stalling call. And Lorenz, of course, keeping pressure on. Not doing much, but keeping pressure on.
Pfeiffer's still moving backwards a bit. Again, they're close to being out of bounds.
Lorenz got that block,
and they are out.
18
seconds on the clock. No score in the first period. Neutral position again.
Got a caution on Lorenz for movement before the whistle there.
Pfeiffer in the orange, Lorenz in the maroon. Back we go. Again, close to being out of bounds, but they come back in.
Lorenz realizes that they called him for backing up, and he's pushing him back and hoping he can get that second call.
With 5 seconds left in the first period.
Referees are discussing it out there.
The referees are trying to keep it moving. But we keep pushing back out of bounds. We end the first period with no score. Nathan Lorenz, the senior from Harrington, taking on Brandon Pfeiffer, the junior from the junior from Ellis in the 152-pound weight class.
Pfeiffer takes down. He's going to try to score from the bottom. Harrington's a tough rider. We'll see what happens. Pfeiffer's been very successful at getting away on bottom this year. He's a much stronger wrestler than he was last year. We'll see if that pays off for him here.
These two guys spending plenty of time out of bounds. 1:54 in the second period. Still no score. Pfeiffer will be in the bottom position now. Lorenz on top.
Of course, every time they go off the mat, they get a little oxygen replenishment there, so that might be something they're trying to do. Pfeiffer can't get that hand loose to hit his switch the way he'd like to, so he doesn't throw it quite as hard as he usually does. Lorenz has got the hammer lock on it, riding on it.
They're going to work their way out of bounds again, I think. 1:35 on the clock. Out of bounds they go. Harrington coached by Dan Burnett. Don Long, the coach at Ellis. 1:28 on the clock. We're in the second period. No score. Lorenz will be on the top position.
Lorenz gets his second caution there now. The next one's going to cost him a point.
Getting a little anxious. No score in the 152-pound weight class. Championship match. .121 now on the clock. Well, I think this is the longest match we've had so far.
Yeah, nobody wants to really try anything without being close to the edge. So there comes Pfeiffer around. He's facing him if he can get that leg free and without breaking his knee there. Almost free.
No points awarded. 1:11 left in the second period. No score.
Say, Lorentz is a strong rider. Not doing any turning, but he is a good rider, and he's staying right on top there where he wants to be.
I think this is going to come down to who runs out of juice first. 51 seconds on the clock. We're in the second period. No score.
Or who makes the move work before they get out of bounds.
Pfeiffer down. Lorenz in the top position. They're not going to waste any time now.
And that gives Lorenz a point because Pfeiffer made a tactical error there. He stood up and headed straight for the edge of the mat. He shouldn't have done that because when they went out of bounds, they had to assume that it was intentional, so he loses a point for stalling.
So Lorenz will be first on the scoreboard as Pfeiffer gives up that point. We're in the second period with just 30 seconds on the clock.
Lorenz is trying to get in there and make it look like he's working for a fall, coming out to the side now to apply pressure like the rule book says he has to, and Pfeiffer gets the escape.
Well, that evens things up now at 1. They're out of bounds again. 14 seconds on the clock. Second period. We're tied at 1. They're going to start in the neutral position.
Pfeiffer needs to stop working backward. He's going to get himself in stall trouble here if he doesn't stop that. They called him for it twice, and the referee's telling him you got to work forward, you got to work forward. So if he keeps backing out like that, he's probably going to lose another point.
6 seconds on the clock in the second period. Neutral position again, and that's the way the second period will end. Tied at 1.
Lorenz takes down here.
Well, I think you called it. Whoever can stay in bounds, make a move in bounds, is going to take home that championship medal in the 152-pound weight class. Pfeiffer is in the up position now. Now they're going to work their way out of bounds on that side of the mat. They haven't done that yet.
Well, we've got to use all the mat here.
Lorenz will be in the down position. Pfeiffer on top. We're tied at 1 in the third period. A minute 53 on the clock.
Got the caution on Pfeiffer that time. He said he didn't get his hand. They need to get in position and put that hand in there right away. And he was a little bit slow putting that hand in there, so it tends to make the other guy jump. There goes Lorenz with a reversal.
And he'll pick up 2 points. 3-1. Out of bounds again. 1:40 on the clock in the third period. 3-1 the score. Nathan Lorenz with the lead now. He's in the top position.
And of course, in all fairness, John, when you're working on standing up on the bottom, it does go off the mat a lot, and it's not always an intentional thing.
Oh, I don't think it's intentional at all. I didn't mean to indicate that at all. You're right. When you're in that down position and you're standing up, you're going to work your way over to the edge of the mat. That's what we've seen happening so far. 1:30 on the clock in the third period. 3-1 the score. Lorenz with the lead now over Pfeiffer.
There's a caution. That's a point for Pfeiffer. So we're down to a 3-2 match again.
Pfeiffer looks like he's going to get a reversal. He's working on it. 1:20 on the clock.
He's close. I don't think he's going to horse Lorenz over that way, but he might. He might.
If he can stay in bounds, he might get it.
He's coming out to try to face him. If he can break that leg free, he's got his escape.
Lorenz does have the hands clamped around the leg. Yep, not going to happen. We've got a stalemate, I believe they called. 107-3-2 the score in the third period. Lorenz still has a lead. It's a 1-point lead over Brandon Piper. Piper in the down position.
Comes out. Not quite enough to get away. Lorenz got those hands locked around there pretty tight and able to break that hip power and put him back down on the mat.
Lorenz going to try and roll Piper over here. Piper's not going to have anything to do with that. He's out of bounds. 45 seconds on the clock in the third period. 3-2 still the score. We'll get things started again with Piper in the down position.
Piper's trying to pressure back and get where he can throw that reversal, that switch, and Lorenz is pressuring him off the mat there, and I think he's about to get a stalling call. Just looking at referee Jeff Noose there and the way he was talking to him on the way back in. So he's trying to tell him they need to stay out there in the middle of the mat and wrestle.
35 seconds on the clock in the third period. A 1-point lead for Lorenz.
Potentially dangerous situation here. We may stop it.
And they do. 23 seconds on the clock. Still a 1-point spread.
Of course, Coach Long wanted that stall call there because Lorenz was still down on the legs. That's just pure power there that Lorenz was able to break his hips down and bring him back down to the mat. Looks like we're going to have a repeat of last year. As I recall, it was a post-match last year, too.
It was indeed. 3 seconds on the clock. Time runs out in the third period, and Lorenz will get that 1-point victory, 3-2 over Brandon Piper. Nathan Lorenz is a state champion once again this year at the 152-pound weight class. Congratulations to Nathan Lorenz from Harrington. His victory over Brandon Piper of Ellis. That was a long 6 minutes.
Yes, it was. They're giving 145-pound medals over there right now. Lance Zerr flew from southeastern Saline, was 6th. Clint Beeler from Harrington was 5th. Tim Horgan from Remington was 4th. Jotham Andrews from Eudora was 3rd. Cale Mann from Norton 2nd. And, of course, Travis Riley from St. Francis, your champion.
And, of course, congratulations to the wrestlers in the 145-pound weight class there. You see them receiving their medals. There you see Cale Mann, the senior from Norton, in 2nd place. And, of course, our winner in the 145-pound weight class, our champion, Travis Riley of St. Francis. And we're just about ready to get things started in the 160-pound weight class. Things moving right along very quickly. John Noel will be taking on Bo Farr. Noel from Blue Stem. He's senior at Blue Stem. Bo Farr, a senior